المال قال إن الله اصطفاه عليكم وزاده بسطة في العلم والجسم والله يؤتي ملكه من يشاء والله واسع عليم. وقال لهم نبيهم إن آية ملكه أن يأتيكم مني فمن شرب منه فليس مني ومن لم يطعمه فإنه مني إلا من اغترف غرفة بيده فشربوا منه إلا قليلا منهم فلما جاوزه هو والذين آمنوا معه قالوا لا طاقة لنا اليوم بجالوت وجنوده قال الذين يظنون أنهم ملاقو الله كم من فئة قليلة غلبت فئة كثيرة بإذن الله والله مع الصابرين. صدق الله العلي العظيم. I'd like to invite Sister Insia to present her presentation, inshallah, for the topic with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum. Today I will be introducing another merit of the soul. Sabr or patience is a very important merit of the soul. In the Holy Quran, Surah 8, verse 46, it says, "And be patient and persevering, for Allah is with those who patiently persevere." Our Ahlul Bayt has spoken much about this merit of the soul. Patience has been encouraged in our lives during moments of trial and difficulty. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam has said, "Verily, sabr is to faith what the head is to the body. The body perishes without the head, and without sabr, faith also disappears." Imam Ali alayhi salam has also said, "The structure of faith is supported by 4 pillars: patience, conviction, justice, and struggle." For a person of patience, his or her attachment to Allah increases during times of difficulty in life. It should be noted that if a person has true belief in the afterlife, hardships and difficulties, including death of a loved one, financial struggle, or illness becomes easier to bear. Why? Because there is a deep realization that this life is temporary, and in the next world, these difficulties will not be there. One can be more patient. If a person believes that all there is to this life is the here and now, he or she will have a hard time being patient through calamities. Karbala is a model for the highest level of patience. We see the patience of mothers whose children went to battle and never came back. We see the patience of a sister upon the death of her beloved brothers. We also see the patience of children upon the lack of water. But most of all, we see the patience of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, who submitted to the will of Allah without question. May we practice patience in our day-to-day lives, and especially when we have trials in life. Thank you.
Ahsant. Let's give another loud salawat in her honor. Salla ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. We'll continue with the rest of Surah Al-Baqarah starting from verse 250 until the Majlis starts inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ولما برزوا لجالوت وجنوده قالوا ربنا أفرغ علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين فهزموهم بإذن الله وقتل داود جالوت وآتاه الله الملك والحكمة وعلمه مما يشاء ولولا دفع الله الناس بعضهم ببعض لفسدت الأرض ولكن الله ذو فضل على العالمين تلك آيات الله نتلوها عليك بالحق وإنك لمن المرسلين تلك الرسل فضلنا بعضهم على بعض منهم من كلم الله ورفع بعضهم درجات وآتينا عيسى ابن مريم البينات وأيدناه بروح القدس ولو شاء الله ما اقتتل الذين من بعدهم من بعد ما جاءتهم البينات ولكن اختلفوا فمنهم من آمن ومنهم من كفر ولو شاء الله ما اقتتلوا ولكن الله يفعل ما يريد يا أيها الذين آمنوا أنفقوا مما رزقناكم من قبل أن يأتي يوم لا بيع فيه ولا خلة ولا شفاعة والكافرون هم الظالمون الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يئوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم لا إكراه في الدين قد تبين الرشد من الغي فمن يكفر بالطاغوت ويؤمن بالله فقد استمسك بالعروة الوثقى لا انفصام لها والله سميع عليم. صدق الله العلي العظيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. عظم الله لكم الأجر في مصيبة الإمام Hussein. We are beginning again our English program for tonight, which we start at 6:45 with presentations and Quran led by the youth. Just a few announcements. On July 12th, inshallah, there will be a panel discussion majlis at Masjid al-Rasul with it's a collab event with different centers including FIS, Masjid al-Rasul, Yasin, IECOC. There will be multiple speakers, inshallah, with such as Sheikh Modarres and Hajj Kawthar Khan. Inshallah, it will begin at 8 p.m. inshallah at the masjid, and it's for ages 14 plus inshallah. Please see the flyer on the Masjid al-Rasul Instagram page for more information. Tomorrow inshallah, before the program, during the youth-led presentations, we will be presenting a video produced by Brother Jawad Rizvi. There is a viewer discretion that's advised for children under the age of 10, as there are some rather perhaps inappropriate scenes for them. It might be as it contains scenes about Karbala. Also tomorrow, following the program, a representative from the Zahra Trust will be giving a short speech about the foundation, and they will be tabling outside inshallah. Also, this Saturday, as I've announced before, there's a gents-only majlis at the residence of Brother Nadeem Zaidi at 2:30 p.m. Inshallah. So please contact him for more details. And as we mentioned before, if we could please start filling the left side of the majlis first, and remind others as they walk in so that we can make space for those coming, inshallah. With that being said, I'd like to invite Maulana Sheikh Ahmad Modarres to the member for tonight's English majlis with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Before I start, let's inshallah quickly test inshallah your retention and the takeaway from last night. So if volunteers, especially new volunteers can help me to see, just basically share what they remember from last night. 1 point, 1 hadith, 1 lesson, something that stood out to you. MashaAllah, again, so many volunteers in spirit. I don't want to come to the point that I nominate you and put you on the spot, but let's see. No one? Yes. How to control your anger. Very good, thank you. So what else? Yes.
If you are angry, maybe try changing positions that you're sitting in or walking.
Very good. So advice is how to deal with anger, changing your position. Yes.
Anger will start with insanity and will lead you with regret.
Very good. Imam Ali's hadith that starts the beginning of his insanity, end of it is regret. Yes. Yes, when you're angry, Shaitan is the one in charge. We're not in charge anymore. Very good. What else? I did not hear the first part. Okay. Oh, that was 2 nights ago. Very good. Because we didn't do it. That was good. That's good. Still, we didn't do this last night. So from 2 nights ago, how salat could be, with those conditions, could be a cure to greed. Yeah. And let's see one more. Yes.
Be especially patient with children. Remember your own childhood.
Remember your own childhood and be patient. Thank you for the well-being of yourself and everybody who answered, and those who didn't answer as well. Recite a salawat. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا حبيب الله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين الهداة المهديين سيما بقية الله في السماوات والأراضي. قال الله تبارك وتعالى في القرآن الكريم وسارعوا إلى مغفرة من ربكم وجنة عرضها السماوات والأرض أعدت للمتقين الذين ينفقون في السراء والضراء والكاظمين الغيظ والعافين عن الناس والله يحب المحسنين صدق الله العلي العظيم. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as we are approaching the day of Ashura, grant us all the mahabba and the love of the Prophet and his family, especially his beloved grandson Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, and to love those who stands for justice with the salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So if you remember yesterday I began my speech with a story regarding a father who was shocked by a reaction or by the burst of anger from his son. And then we got to the topic of anger, but the ending of that story is that eventually when I had a chance to talk to the young man, one thing it became very clear. And that is that he said, I was in the heat of the moment, I was really, focused and in the middle of the game. And when I was interrupted, I don't remember what happened. All I remember is that I was very, very angry. And I decided to throw something. And it accidentally hit the TV and broke the TV. And he recognized, first of all, that what he did, first of all, was an action that caused him, because I told the father as a piece of advice, do not buy him a new TV. For the one who breaks and smashes a TV, there should be consequences. That's the choice he made, at least for a while, until we know that person learned their lesson. And I will get to that inshallah from a parent's perspective, that how important it is to have discipline. And I don't mean by discipline, God forbid, physically, punishing your kids, but there's discipline necessary. We are where we are today, either in a successful and accomplishing way, or God forbid, sometimes some of the mistakes we make is the result of discipline or lack of discipline, for sure. And I'll get to that in a bit. So that was one thing. I said, okay, you did this, you made a mistake, good. Now regret. As we said last night, that's usually what is following up. What comes after anger is usually regret. And now it's good to look at this as a learning opportunity. You look at your mistake and now you learn from it for the rest of your life. Because yes, right now you live with your mom and dad and they're forgiving. But God forbid if you move on and now you have your own family. And God forbid you have one of these burst moments of anger. And God forbid it's going to be a case of domestic abuse and your spouse calls the police and goes on your record. Then it's not the same story anymore. You're blessed and you're fortunate that you are dealing with your parents. They're very forgiving. But when it comes to other people, let's say if you do this at your workplace, if you do it with strangers, if you do it with your classmates, it's not going to be you will not be let off that easily. So, and I told him, look at this as an opportunity for you to also learn that probably this level of attachment you have to gaming is one of the reasons that you are now what is known as to be kind of addicted to the dopamine that is released when you play these games. there's dopamine addiction, as well as, of course, there is behavioral issues that you have because you're not spending enough time with real people. If in, mashallah, summertime, a lot of children, you have a lot of time off, and if I'm spending 10 hours a day, I'm spending 5, 6, 7 hours of that in front of a device, and all I care about is, again, a certain kind of reaction and interaction. That's what, how habits are developed. That's how things happen. Let me be clear, those who memorize the Quran, they did not spend 10 hours a day to memorize the Quran. Maximum, they spend 2 hours. And after a while, depending on the age, you can memorize the entire Quran. And we think it's such an impossible task. All they've done, some of them, 2 hours, some of them less, depending, as I said, there are different levels when it comes to the, there are some criteria such as good memory, and there's Arabic understanding and all that plays a role. But overall, I'd never, remember when I was in that position, do not know any of my classmates or people that I knew who spend 5 hours a day. I did not know. Why? Because you spend an hour on anything every single day. That's 30 hours a month. That's 365 hours a year. That's enough time for you to learn a new skill, new language. There's so much you can do with that. But unfortunately, I talked about that quickly, which is nowadays we're living at an era that is known as attention economics. I mentioned that in a different subject in Masjid Rasul, so if you were there or if you heard of it, it means that basically we're living at a time that there is an investment to get our attention. Meaning that anyone who wants you to pay attention to the screen, to your phone, to the TV, whatever that is, there is a money-making machine behind it. For sure, there's going to be marketing. There are people who are, I'm pretty sure they have UX designers, they care about the UI, the way you interact with it. As well as, of course, there's a lot of data. They have literally psychologists who, when they test their product, and that product could be Instagram, or it could be a video game. What they do is they literally have people, they pay them to come and test it, and then they observe. I think I referred to that a while ago. There's something that is eye tracking studies, which basically when you design a website or a game or whatever that you are trying to make it more efficient and improve, they use this as a way to kind of build on and improve their product. So let's say it's on a website. They again bring these testers, average people, and then the machine, there's a camera, follows the eye, and which part of the screen or which part of the web page you're looking at first. Where's the first place that gets your attention? And that's where they put most of the stuff that they want you to see there. And on the top of that, it also is the mouse tracker. So where you're moving your mouse and all that. So if there's that much money goes into investing, that I want you to stay longer on my app, on my game, on my platform, on whatever that is, attention economics is telling us to stop being naive and recognize that your time is valuable. There is no way that you can give your time for free. Ask yourselves, yes, there's necessary to have entertainment. I'm not here to, say Sheikh Modarres said, all kind of gaming, all kind of entertainment, all kind of having fun is not good or forbidden. No, it's actually sometimes necessary. It's a way you rejuvenate, it's a way you kind of refresh yourself, it's a way to distract yourself a bit, take a break is necessary. But when, like everything else is go too far, like even sleeping is necessary, right? Our body, our soul, our brain, everyone said, okay, you need the sleep. But if that goes too much sleeping, then it's not good. Eating, again, necessary to our survival, but if it goes too much, is a problem. Same as when it comes to any kind of, let's call them our interaction with the technology, either with video games, TV, phone, games, or anything in that way. So I began with that because that conversation with that young man brought me to this hadith. That again, yesterday we had one word of wisdom, and I said, I believe we need role models when it comes to everything. There's the theoretical matter, meaning, oh, it's good to be like this, it's good to be like that. But then you need a real human being to look up. To look up at them and say, okay, this is someone that I should learn from. Means real people can do it. Otherwise, he said, I'm not a robot. I've heard it quite often. Adults, young people, children don't say it. They do not have that expertise of finding loopholes. But young people and adults, what they say? I'm not a robot, Sheikh. I have emotions. I get angry. Nothing wrong with that. I embrace it. I'm proud of it. I am who I am. Imagine if you start with this, I am who I am, meaning deal with it. I can't do anything about it, or I don't want to do anything about it. And that itself is undermining every principle we know about our faith. Imagine the people who our prophets went to them. What was their excuse? They said the same thing. When Prophet Ayub, when Prophet Saleh, when Prophet Musa, when all these prophets went to the people and said, you know what you're doing is wrong. Idol worshipping, sacrificing your children, not following, the moral codes, not having faith. And they would say, this is the way of our fathers. Asatirul awwaleen, this is what our forefathers used to do. We're not going to change anything. Who we are. And they said the same thing to our Prophet. That's what Quraysh said. How they came after our Prophet. How they were basically trying to turn people against him. They were saying that this man, referring to our Prophet, he is turning his back on our ancestral practices. He is abandoning our rituals. He's turning our youth against us. He's corrupting them. Why? Because he wants them to change. Not everything that Rasulullah wanted to change. He said, okay, there are practices that you cannot continue, meaning you should not continue. You can because you have a choice, but you shouldn't. Burying your daughters alive. Having no sense of respect for the rights of others. When it comes to injustice and the dhulm. When it comes to having idols and boasting and bragging about your idols. These are things that you have to change. The rest, there are good things that you have. You're hospitable people. That's something you hold on to. You are people who are very brave. When you have to stand up for yourself, you do. These are good things, you stand up with them. There are certain months that you don't find. They call them sacred month of haram. They existed before beginning of Rasulullah's prophethood. Meaning that the Arabs, the pagans, also they used to respect the month of haram or sacred month. They will not engage in a war when it comes to the Moharram, when it comes to Rajab, and those what we call the month of haram. So when Islam came, said, okay, these are good things. Let's keep them. These are still sacred months. They have roots in divine. These are practices that stayed from the time of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Let's keep them. But there are new phenomena that you have to deal with. These are new practices that they are immoral, they're unacceptable, they are against the well-being of others. It's against the vulnerable. That girl that is being buried, she can't defend herself. Well, Allah said, I will stand up for her. بِأَيِّ ذَنْبٍ قُتِلَتْ. I will hold accountable anyone responsible for that crime, and I will ask them in the day of judgment, what was the guilt and what was the sin of that girl? How you justify the killing of that girl? بِأَيِّ ذَنْبٍ قُتِلَتْ. And that girl is a daughter of a polytheist or an idol worshiper or pagan. It doesn't matter. It's a child. It cannot defend itself, herself. So I said that we need examples. Otherwise, we would say, you know what, well, I am who I am. Theoretically, yes, it's a good idea to change. It's a good idea to, better yourself, improve your character. But the truth is, I am who I am. I heard it from people. Said my dad was short-tempered. He passed it down to me. This is something we have in a family. We're Jushi, right? We're Jushi. That's kind of a character we have. Okay. So what do you mean by that? It means it is what it is. Deal with it. Accept it. And the truth is, that's not fair. That's not just. That's not right. Otherwise, as I said, that's what the enemies of the Prophet said. Who we are, accept it. And Allah and the Messenger said, it's your choice, but you cannot say it's right. When it's wrong, you have to at least try to change it. That's what matters. When you put efforts, and let's be clear, is it easy? No, it's not easy. Is it easy to change? Is it easy to break a cycle? Let's say your ancestors, all of them, God forbid, were a certain way. They were angry people, they were short-tempered. And now for me to break this cycle, is it easy? No, it's not. But is it impossible? No, it's not impossible. It is very, very possible. But once I start by saying, you know what? It's not possible. I already accepted the defeat that I'm not going to change. I already started with the notion that I'm not even going to try to make things better. And that itself is a self-inflicted pain that I caused upon myself. And as a result of that, people around me and my family also has to deal with it. We live in that culture, by the way. The culture that it is what it is. People are who they are. And they keep telling you that there's no perfect person. There's no perfect human being. Yes, it's true, except for us, we have Masumin, we have prophets, we have Ahlul Bayt. Except them, they are relatively good people. You cannot say because there's no perfect person that people who are not perfect, but to what extent relatively they're good. That's very different. You have people who are horrible in every level, God forbid. Right? The worst of people. Not perfect. And then you have someone who may have slip-ups, who may have mistakes, but overall they're reliable. Overall they're good. Overall is someone that you can count on. So you can't say, oh, because I cannot be perfect, I'm not going to even try to aim for being better and being perfect. That's very, very, very important to keep in mind. So Imam Ali alayhi salam is a great example. A man that we look at his character and we see, although he's very brave, no Muslim denies his bravery, strength. He's very knowledgeable and wise. Imagine he has all the, if there is a checklist of qualities that someone loves to possess, he's charismatic, he's courageous, he's brave, he's wise, he's eloquent, he's compassionate, he has mercy. He has all those qualities. And then, in the midst of all that, you can see that although he is very brave and knowledgeable and wise and eloquent, but he's very, very, very in charge and controlling his temper. We gave the example yesterday. And even the students of Ali alayhi salam are also following his way. Malik al-Ashtar. Malik al-Ashtar, he is the commander of Ali alayhi salam's army. When Imam alayhi salam became the Khalifa of the time, he appointed him to become the governor of Egypt. And he sent him to go to Egypt, and he wrote a letter to him how to govern. United Nation, which again unfortunately is failing all humanity in many levels, now it's just a shamble. It used to be something. I don't know how good it was, but now it's just pretty much, it's being used. It lost its efficacy, I think. Even in that broken system, they acknowledge this letter of Imam Ali to Malik al-Ashtar as a great model for governance. You can look it up. Letter of Imam Ali to Malik al-Ashtar, which Imam in that letter talks about that how to deal with people, how to treat people. As a ruler, what is your responsibility, how to treat them. Before he get to Egypt, Muawiyah ordered his assassination. He was martyred. Why? That's not that difficult to figure out. The same reason he stood up against Imam Ali himself. When you have an alternative, people always compare you to the alternative. Oh, this is how you rule. You build mansions, you build fortresses for yourself, you live like a king. Muawiyah did something that even the second Khalifa, when he went and he saw what he built in Levant and Sham, he criticized him. So what are you doing? Even the one who appointed him was against it, that okay, you're doing too much. This is being wasteful. And then on the other side, you have Ali ibn Abi Talib, who does not eat in one meal more than 2 kinds of foods, sometimes even 1. Forget about the luxury of men. There's no mansion. Where is the place that he rules? Where is the mansion? Where is the fortress that he's ruling? Masjid of Kufa. You inshallah go to ziyarah, you go to visit Masjid of Kufa, it's still there. You see, there are even areas in the Masjid of Kufa. This was where Imam Ali was dealing with people. This is where he would make judgment. This is where he would, deal with people's concern or complaints. You choose a masjid, a place of God, and the house of God to be a place. It doesn't need a new facility for that. So we have examples like him. And he was someone that people who are Christians, when they read about his life, they have no choice but to honor him. George Jordak has books on him. Antoine Bara is another Christian Lebanese scholar, has a book on him. And he probably visited Imam Ali more than me and you. Some of us at least. If I'm not mistaken, Antoine Bara, he went to Ziyarat Imam Ali over 10 times. And he's Christian. And when they ask him, why you're doing this? He said, as I get to know him, there is this magnet that as if is pulling me toward him. I want to be close to him. I want to walk in the streets that he walked. So, what Imam Ali said about anger, this is another word. And look at the wisdom behind it. Imam Ali says, there are 3 illnesses of the soul, which we talked about them. I think we talked about 2 out of 3. That their punishment or the consequences of them first catches the perpetrator. When we commit certain sins, others suffer. We don't. For example, gossiping, ghaiba. When you start backbiting, at that moment is affecting other people's reputation, you're hurting their image. You may enjoy it because you're putting someone else down, your ego may enjoy it. By putting them down, I feel that I'm elevating myself. But there are 3 spiritual illness that they start with you. They first hurt you and then they may hurt other people as you continue. عقوبة الغضوب والحقود والحسود تبدأ بأنفسهم. The punishment or the consequences of the anger or the one who's angry. And the spiteful, the one who holds grudges. And the envious, the one who's jealous. Begins with themselves. The punishment begins with themselves. Meaning that before I even get a chance to hurt someone else, I already start hurting myself. That's what anger is. Going back to that young man, I told him, before you think you disrespected your dad, which you did, because you hurt him, you start hurting yourself. You were angry and you did something and now you're regretting, you start hurting yourself Financially, you hurt yourself. Emotionally, you hurt yourself. And you're now dealing with the consequence. Same as in marriage. When somebody gets angry as a wife or husband, we say something spiteful, we say something disrespectful, we say something very, we can call it unexpected, unfair. And I think, oh, I hurt them, right? I got them. But the first one that I caused that hurt was myself. You know that when we get angry, what happened to our body? There are physiological symptoms. It affects our hearts, our heartbeats, our blood pressure, right? Our blood sugar, everything is affected. And that's why you see a quite number of people who get heart attack is at the time of what? Tell me. Anger. It's psychological, but it has a direct impact on our body. And you see quite often that people who have heart issues and all that, usually the doctor advised them, yes, there's the diet, things that you can do, and there's bypass and all that, but one thing you should know, you have to stay away from what may cause you stress. Right? As if it's possible. Like, you know, it's like asking someone, go outside but do not breathe. It's not possible. The dunya that we live in is going to happen. And to a certain extent, it is part of life and it's fine. They don't say all stress is bad. To a certain minimal and acceptable level, the stress is good actually. But the moment it goes out of hand, the moment it goes excessive, that's where it's the start. Not being productive or helpful, it causes more damage. So Imam alayhi salam said, remember these three illnesses, and one of them is the focus of our subject, right? One of them is anger, the number one. Al-Ghadub. Number two is to be the one that is related to the anger as well. Is to be spiteful, to hold grudges. Why you hold grudges? Because I'm angry. It related to anger. I don't forget, and again, this is the worst advice people give. Forgive but not forget. What? Forgive but not forget. So, okay, so I got it. So it means you make a peace of mind for someone else by telling them, I forgive you. You let them go. But you yourself, I'm going to punish myself. I'm going to not forget it. I'm going to relive that, whatever happened to me, over and over again. Good. What a great advice that is. And we do it? Yes, we do it quite often. I've seen it, married people say it. When they're having a good moment with their husband, we have a good moment with their wife, I'm not going to really enjoy it because I remember the time that they said something to me. Okay, good for you. If that's the way you want to go with it, perfect. You're punishing yourself that I'm not going to enjoy myself. I'm not going to enjoy this moment because I hold on to something. I forgave because now I'm actually having a good moment. If I did not forgive, I will not have this good moment. That's how it is, right? When you're able to create a new moment, when you give another chance, that means you forgave. But now somehow, I'm going to ibtada bi anfusihim, Imam says. You're going to start with yourself hurting yourself, that I'm not going to let go. And we think that's going to protect us. Why? Because I don't want to get hurt again. So I always tell them, that's a good point. Yes, we don't want to be bitten from the same place twice. We don't want to get hurt from the same source twice. I get it. But the point is that when you stop yourself from fully enjoying a moment, how that is going to help you not to get hurt again. How? Make the logic of it, make the reasonable point for it, then I agree. How is that going to prevent something from happening? But this is what is huqud, hiqd, is when you hold the grudge. I don't let go. And Quran says exactly opposite. When Allah talks about muttaqeen, who are the people of taqwa? By now you know that we talked about this. Do not get confused. Religious people they're not only known by salat. Salat is one of there's a checklist to be a religious person. One of them is they pray. الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَلَى صَلَاتِهِمْ دَائِمُونَ. They're consistent with their prayers. That's one. Also on that list is what? Quran says, let me tell you who are the people who are religious. How we know that Quran means religious? Taqwa. Religious is a word we use. Right? We have Muslims, the one who was born into a Muslim family or converted or reverted to Islam, that's Muslim. Who is truly religious? According to Quran, according to our deen? Muttaqeen. The one who has taqwa. The one who is God conscious. The one who's God living. Meaning that the way they live their lives, they keep Allah all the time. They're fearful of Allah's punishment. They keep in mind that there are consequences for their actions, for their words. That's what taqwa is. They don't forget Allah. They remember Allah and they live according to Allah. So Quran says, وَسَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ. Surah Al-Imran. Allah said you have to haste, you have to speed up. Meaning, you don't have this time forever. There is no guarantee for tomorrow. Allah knows if next Muharram we're here or not. We don't. When they told me about my father, till this day I don't believe it that he passed away. Never. It's not something I know my father is going to be here with me and walk me in the aisle, inshallah. No. Inshallah, Allah bless you with that, but it's not a guarantee. So don't wait for your relationship to get better once, inshallah, you get married. No, this is it. And Quran said, وَسَارِعُوا. You have to speed up, you have to rush toward the forgiveness of your Lord. Because you never know about tomorrow. That doesn't make you depressed. That should make you motivated. Because when you say you have to speed up, you have to haste. Even we say it in Salat, Hayya ala Salah. When the Salat time, don't procrastinate, go toward it. What if you lose the chance? This is so important, precious, that Rasulullah said, قُرَّةَ عَيْنِي فِي الصَّلَاةِ. What is the joy of my eyes, what is the light of my eyes is the Salah. That's something I enjoy. Zainab Salamullah Aliyah, after Karbala, in the middle of the night, she's a captive, she's in shackles. She cannot even stand up out of imagine the entire hardship of the day of Ashura, what she went through. In the midnight, when everybody's resting, Imam Zain al-Abidin is the one who narrates that my aunt Zainab did not miss her Salatul Layl, Tahajjud. She performed her Tahajjud prayer, Mustahab. And then somebody else has a wedding, I miss my Salat, they have a wedding. Somebody else passed away, I'm missing my Salat because of that. Oh, it's bad. It's weird. And why Sayyidina Zainab did it? It's not the wajib, it's mustahab, it's recommended. It's because Salat to Hazrat Zainab is not that she does it because she has to. It's not that, she's just removing a burden. Salat for her is a way to alleviate your pain. This is a cure. We talked about it. It's something that actually uplift you, give you strength. When you empower your soul is going to give strength to your body. And Salat has that power. So, once we recognize that, then the way we look at this concept is very, very different. That anger, if it's not maintained well, if it's not controlled well, it would lead to grudge, huqud. So Quran says, hurry up toward the forgiveness of your Lord. Don't waste, do not procrastinate. Good opportunities are not there forever. وَجَنَّةٍ عَرْضَهَا السَّمَاوَاتُ وَالْأَرْضِ. Go as fast as you can toward heaven. The heaven and paradise that Allah created for the people, أُعِدَّ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. That this heaven, it belongs to the people of taqwa. It was made and meant for people who have taqwa. They're God conscious, they're pious, God fearing people. So then Allah said, let me give you who are the muttaqeen. الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ فِي السَّرَّاءِ وَالضَّرَّاءِ. So the people who are truly religious, the one who have taqwa, they are the one who donate, they spend in the way of Allah, they give, they're generous at the time of ease and at the time of hardship. When they're financially well off, or even if they're not financially that well off, they still give. Suitable to what they can offer, they still give. Sometimes we feel generous when I make a lot of money. Okay, now I can buy the new clothes. Let me donate all these clothes that I don't like anymore. And we think, oh, that's a great charity. It is good, but it's not great. It's good. I'm not trying to downplay it. It's better than nothing. There are people who hold on to their old clothes after 20 years, mashallah. There are hoarding people like that. Let's be clear. So if I'm not one of them, that's a gift. Alhamdulillah. But when I do that, I should not feel that, okay, they should put me here in the same level as people like Hatam al-Ta'i and many individuals who are known for being generous. That's being decent. But Quran says, Muttaqeen, even if things are not going well, Darra is that when you're in hardship, it's a tough situation. Financially it's tough. They still give. It's been said that our Prophet one day, he was always on time to Salat. One day, it was abnormally that they waited for Prophet. Why? They went to Rasulullah, Ya Rasulullah, what's going on? Rasulullah said, I only have one shirt, and I washed it, and it was wet. I was trying to dry it before coming. This is a time that is financially tough. The one who only have one pair. But even being in that position, he still gives. Ali ibn Abi Talib goes, Fatima to Zara is craving pomegranate. Imam Ali goes and borrows money because he doesn't have the money. Financially, the situation is tough. Gets some pomegranate. On the way, someone sees pomegranate in Imam Ali's hand. Without saying anything, the conversation between them is that, can I have some? And Imam gives half of it away. This is the one that even if the situation is tough, because usually we say, you're asking me for help, I need people to help me. We're very good with that. And Quran said people who have taqwa, even if they don't have a lot, their spirit is a generous spirit. Even if they have nothing to give, قول معروف وصدقة or قول معروف ومغفرة. Speaking good and respectfully to the people in need is better. A respectful rejection is better. صدقة يتبعها أذى. From a charity that you mix it or you accompany it with insult. So meaning that rather than you give $1 or $5 or $1,000 and said, okay, just leave me alone. You guys never, you only remember me when you need money. You never call me. You don't even know you have an uncle or a cousin or a sister, whatever. Only when, these are insults. These are putting salt on the wound. When somebody reach out to you for help, they already put their pride beneath their feet to come to you. And now on the top of that, you disrespect them. Quran says, don't give them the money. If you're going to mix it with the insult, if you're going to mix it, there's something better you can do. قَوْلٌ مَعْرُوف. Respect and kindly talk to them. Talk to them good. Say, you know what? May Allah help you. May Allah inshallah provide for you. I can't, sorry, I'm not in a situation to help you, but Allah is great. Allah is Kareem. Don't worry about it, things will get better. Let me see what I can do. Let me call people. Maybe you can reach out to this. Tell me how is life. Maybe just listening to them, complaining about their friend. That is better. Quran says, that is better than you giving the charity and insult them with it. So muttaqeen are the one who give at the time of ease and difficulty. So we said that's already an antidote of greed, hirs. What is the second one? The second quality of religious people who go to heaven? وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظِ, those who suppress and control the anger, those who swallow the anger. We know the title of our seventh Imam is Al-Kadhim. Why he was known with the quality of Kadhim? His name is Musa. Musa ibn Ja'far. Al-Kadhim is his title. The one who was controlling his anger, swallows anger. So Quran said that's a quality of person of taqwa. That's a religious people. And then وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظَ وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ. Then they don't hold it down. One, they swallow it. Because at the moment you have to control it. Even Allah, there's a beauty in it. That at that moment that you're angry, do not expect people to forgive you. Let things cool down. All you can do at the time of heat of the anger is what? Just control. Damage control. All I'm going to do is just stay quiet. Otherwise I say something that I will regret. So وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظَ, swallow your anger, walk away, do something not to, your anger takes charge and control. And then when the time is right, give it some time, you cool down. وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ, then you forgive. You let go. You don't hold down. وَاللَّهُ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ, and Allah loves those who are doers of good. وَالَّذِينَ إِذَا فَعَلُوا فَاحِشَةً أَوْ ظَلَمُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ. Allah said these people who are religious, they're not necessarily perfect. They may commit mistakes. They may have slip-ups. But when they commit a mistake, when they are committing injustice against their soul, they commit a sin that sometimes is personal. They do something to themselves that they're not supposed to. They break a rule of Allah that is not only about people, it could be against their own soul. ظَلَمُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ. What happened? They don't give up. They don't say, okay, done. It's like, you know, people with the streaks, right? Or you have to keep the streak, otherwise you have to start. It's not like that. Allah said people who are muttaqeen and religious, if they make a mistake, ذَكَرُوا, as soon as they can, they remember Allah. وَاسْتَغْفَرُوا لِذُنُوبِهِمْ, and they seek forgiveness of Allah, they repent. They don't let sins pile up. They don't think situation get worse. Right? So these are the religious people. These are the qualities. And look at them. The muttaqeen, we didn't get to the salat and fast and all that. These are part of it. But Allah focuses on the importance of financial generosity, as well as anger issues and emotional intelligence, as well as when it comes to a moment that you make mistakes, you don't give up. You don't let sins pile up. You do accountability, you do repentance and seek forgiveness. That's how it is. And Imam alayhi salam said, this anger and this spitefulness and jealousy, remember that you're hurting yourself more than anyone else. So that should be one reason why I should work on the anger. Of course, after that, I hurt myself first, then you hurt people who are very, very close to you. You hurt the people that you love. That's what anger does. Anger does not discriminate. You may be angry, God forbid, and even the people you love the most. Anger can do something that you regret later. You say something that you cannot take it back. And always demolishing and destruction is easier. You say something to hurt them, and then you have to buy flowers, and then you have to, do so many things in order to fix it. And at the end of the day, it reminds me of whiteboards. And when you write something, sometimes there's these smudges still left. It's not clearly gone. So, what should we do about it? Remember, number one, anger is going to start burning us first. Number two, it's going to start hurting people that we love. Number three, is going to make us in debt. When you're angry, you will undermine huquq, rights. Imam Sajjad has Risalatul Huquq, treaties of right. And if you look at it, it talks about Allah has right upon us. Prophet has right on us. Our own body have haqq on us. as well as our parents, our children, our teachers, our neighbors. All kind of people have haq on us. And you may say, oh, everybody have rights on me. I owe them something. They don't owe me. Yes, you have haq on others as well. Because if you paid attention, I said, parents have haq over you, and children have haq over you. So either your parent or your children or you're both. So it's not just one side, it's both sides. But the question is that what are you doing about those rights? Because in the day of judgment, Allah will not ask me, oh, why your dad did this. Allah will ask my dad. Allah will not ask me why your teacher did this, why your neighbor did this. They will have to answer for themselves. But Allah will tell me, you are the mother, you are the husband, you are the son, you are the daughter. What have you done? And you know what we do? We like to say, but you know, they were bad. They were not good. They did this. And I promise you what Allah would say is what? I'll get to them. Let's talk about you. Yes, they were bad. What's the difference between you and them? And then we use what children do. He started it. A kid's game. She started it. And Allah said, whoever started it, what have you done? Because somebody start cursing, if you return the curse with curse, you think suddenly you got the forgiveness? Oh, now, because he or she started it, you got the free pass. No. Quran literally talks about it. The one who returns evil with goodness. The one who responds to evil with righteousness. That's what a mu'min is. We heard the story so many times. Muslim Aqil was in the house of Hani ibn Urwa. He was in Kufa. Hani was one of the leaders of Kufa. Not all people of Kufa were bad. Many people who were in there Ashura fighting against Imam Hussein were not from Kufa. Many of them were from Sham, Muawiyah's territory. I mentioned the Musibah of Qasim yesterday. The one who came after Qasim was Azraq al-Shami with his sons. He was a Shami guy. He was from Muawiyah's territory. But people of Kufa, some of them actually were because of fear, because of wealth, they did abandon some of them. But Hani was not one of them. Hani was the one, to the last moment of his life, he defended Imam al-Hussein and his messenger, Muslim. So we have that Ibn Ziyad, he came to visit Hani. They summoned Hani to come and visit him. He said, I will not go there. So why? He said, he's sick. He cannot come and see you. So Ibn Ziyad, the governor of Kufa, appointed by Yazid, he said, I'll go. These are, political move by them that, okay, we're going to start with the leaders. If you have leaders in control, then the masses will follow the leaders. So he went to the house of Hani. He was not armed. He went there and started talking, and we have that at that time, Muslim was in the house of Hani. He didn't know. Later on, they asked Muslim why he didn't kill him. That was the best opportunity. You had the advantage. This guy did not know you're there. You get an ambush, surprise him. And this guy who's, again, is an evil guy in any level. He's a killer. He's responsible for so much. You would have then, did a favor to the entire world. And what he said? He said, we follow the path of a prophet in a religion who says that the one who's your guest, it means that they are granted immunity, safety. I will not attack a guest who came unarmed. I'm not going to fight evil with another evil. Because he's evil, it does not justify it. People ask me, there's corporations, they do this, they're very greedy and all that. Can I steal a couple of stuff here and there? No. No. Why? Don't be the Robin Hood of your time. You're not. Haram is haram. When you agree to work in the system, if you give them your word, which means you signed a contract, you agree to it, then you have to respect it. Does not matter if they're Muslim or not. It doesn't matter if you like them or not. Once you agree to work with them, you have to honor it. You cannot return mistakes and sin by another sin. So going back to concept of ghadab, I say one more point and I finish with that. When it comes to parents, your intention is khair. You want to raise a good family, you want to protect them. But there's one thing that we never can justify. Because your intention is good, the means of that intention has to be good as well. So if you become angry, you lose your temper, and you said, I'm going to discipline them, it's not going to work out. Why? Because then the reason is not to teach them, the reason is to satisfy my anger. I'm angry. Once again, Imam Ali said, La adab ma'a ghadab. There is no teaching adab, there is no discipline that you do it with anger. Discipline is necessary. I mentioned at the beginning, I'm going to talk about it. We need discipline. Discipline meaning, going back to that example that I started, people have to face the consequences of their actions. That's discipline. My son, there's a video game for this time. My daughter, this is the time for TV. After this is done. If not, then there are going to be consequences. You will lose your time later on. You use your extra time. Or you have to do some chores around the house. Or if you, God forbid, curse your mom or dad, or you said something that you're not supposed to do, there should be consequences. Not physical punishment, but consequences. But out of too much kindness, sometimes we spoil our children. No discipline. Especially if you have few children, especially if you have one or two. Then you think, okay, they are my life. Yes, they are your life, and you can destroy your life. As parents, you have to be a team. And even if you're not a perfect team, do your best not to turn against each other. That you can do. Do not let children use you against one another. And more importantly, if you want to discipline them, make sure you're in charge. How? Sometimes you can raise your voice a bit. That's authority. Not screaming and shouting out of my lung. But I can raise my voice, but that should be controlled. If you've seen when we're angry, what happened? Our voices start cracking. Right? Why? Because we're not in charge. We don't control anything. We're just reacting. We're just doing whatever, our instinct tells us to do at the moment. And discipline cannot be done with anger. So let's say if your children does something that frustrates you, and it's you're now, angry, that's not the time to teach them anything. Remember, we just said, when you're angry, shaitan is in control. The best thing you can do at that moment to do nothing. That's it. Once you're able to manage your own emotion and control, then you teach them. Because our children, they see it. As a teacher in Sunday school is the same concept, by the way. If your student can crawl under your skin and they see you reacting, they got you. So it's important to control your anger. That's not a way you can do any discipline. You cannot do any self-building. And one way to always remember that if you are someone who controls your anger, there's a reward for that. When you put efforts to control and hold back, to swallow the anger, there's a reward. What's the reward of the one who controls the anger? What a beautiful word is from Imam as-Sadiq alayhi salam himself. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Imam alayhi salam said, the one who kaffa ghadabahu anin nas, the one who hold back his anger from people. They don't let their anger lash out at people. Allah will contain His anger from them. Allah said, what we are doing of salat in our salat is a dua we make every day 10 times. What do we say? Ihdina siratan mustaqim, guide us to the straight path. Siratan ladina an'amta alayhim, the path of those that you favored them, blessed them. Ghayril maghdub. Maghdub come from ghadab, anger. Ya Allah, don't lead me to the path of those that you're angry with them. In other words, Ya Allah, protect me that I don't end up on the side of your anger, on the side of your wrath because of my actions. And we have that Imam Sallallahu said, if you're someone, you control your anger, you withhold your anger from people, even if sometimes we say, oh, but they're too this and they deserve. No, you control your anger regardless of whatever they may have done. Allah said, when you deserve my anger, I will protect you from my anger. What a greater gift you want. That Allah said, you do it. You've seen those videos that they said, do you want this drink or this $100 or should I double it down and give it to the next person? Annoying, of course. Allah said, if you control your anger, forget about double. I multiply to a point that you understand it when the time of my anger comes, that I protect you from my anger. That's how you can make an investment. May Allah grant us all the tawfiq of following the path of Rasulullah and the path of Ahlul Bayt, and be among those who are kadhimin al-ghayz wal-afin an nas, those who control their anger and forgive people. With a salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك عليك مني جميعا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. We're going to dedicate tonight's majlis to Alamdar and Saqqa and brother and protector Abdul Salih, the righteous servant of Allah, Abul Fadl Abbas alayhi salam. When you talk about the speak of anger, Abul Fadl Abbas alayhi salam, look, he used his anger at the right time. One time that he got angry was when Shamr came forward. Shamr came and he brought a letter that was for immunity or protection. And he said, your mom is from the same tribe as mine. And in the Arab, being from the same tribe is like your family. So you are like my nephews. And I ask for protection for you and your brother. Because Abul Fadl Abbas' mother is Baneen. Fatima was her name, that she asked Imam Ali not to call her Fatima, not to remember the orphans of Fatima to Zahra. So she was called Baneen, the mother of sons. So in the day of Ashura, it was not just Abul Fadl Abbas, it was Abul Fadl Abbas and his brothers. So when he brought the letter, he looked at him with anger. This is the moment of anger. And he said, if it wasn't because of what my Imam said, my brother Hussein said, my Sayyidi wa Mawlai, the one who is in charge here, Imam Hussein. Because when he came forward, he didn't even want to go to him. He didn't want to even answer him. Imam Hussein told them, my Abbas, go. We are the people, if somebody come to us, we answer them. If it wasn't because of my brother and my Imam, I wouldn't even answer you. And if it wasn't because of him and my faith, I would not let you leave here alive. But I'm controlling my anger because of Allah. Take your letter, take your protection. We will never leave Hussein alayhi salam. This is one time. And the second time was when companions went and they were martyred. Now was the turn of Bani Hashim, Ali al-Akbar, Qasim. They went to the battle. Every moment Abul Fadl Abbas is marching around the camp and he's coming to Imam Hussein asking permission to go to the battle. And Imam was telling him, my brother Abbas, you are the flag bearer. You are the commander. If you go and you don't return, my entire army will fall apart. Until you're standing to enemy, our army still is standing. This is the word of Imam himself. فَإِذَا مَضَيْتَ تَفَرَّقَ عَسْكَرِي. If you go and you don't come back, my entire army will fall apart. This small army is standing because the Alamdar is here. But there was a moment that he got so emotional that he came to Imam Hussein, and that was after he was walking by a tent. And this is where they were keeping water in what is known as to be the leather skin, like what they used to contain water in. And he saw these children, they're picking up these leather skin looking for water, and they don't find any water. So what they did, they lifted their shirts and they placed their stomachs on the floor because it's a bit moist from what used to have some water, in order to alleviate their thirst. And we have that he came to Imam al-Hussein and said, Ya Sayyidi wa Mawlai, O my master, O my leader Hussein, you know that Abbas never questioned your judgment, never questioned your leadership. But this is what he said. He said, I've seen things that this is a moment that the chest of Abbas cannot bear this anymore. قَدْ ضَاقَ صَدْرِي وَقَلَّتْ حِيلَتِي. Imagine that sometimes there's so much pressure on you that you feel that you're getting, you cannot breathe anymore. They're suffocating. That's what ضَاقَ صَدْرِي is. He said, my dear Mawla Hussein, I cannot breathe anymore. Let me go and face the enemy. Or let me go and get some water for these children. You called me the Saqan Alamdar, and now they're asking for water. I'm just watching. And we have that after that, Imam al-Hussein told him, my dear brother Abbas, go and get some water for these children. As if the entire world was given to Abbas. He went and he picked up the leather skin. He armed himself. He mounted the horse. He started rushing toward the Euphrates. And we have that there were enemies in thousands between him and the Euphrates River. But this is Abbas, the one who's known for his bravery, the one who's known for his fearlessness. He was able to kill some of the enemies. He was able to push them away, and he got to the water and filled the leather skins with water. And as he was marching back toward the camp of Hussein, he's so happy that the children are going to have water after a while. He remembered the thirsty lips of Ali al-Asghar. He probably remembered the thirsty lips of Sakina and Ruqayya as he was going toward the camp. The enemies who were now in ambush waiting behind the trees, they struck the hand of Abbas. First they went for the right hand, and Abbas alayhi salam carried the leather skin on his left hand, and he's reciting these words, Wallah in qata'tumu yamini inni uhami abadan an dini. I swear to Allah that if you sever my hand, you cannot stop me from defending the religion of Allah. He continued his way until they attack his left hand, and now the left hand is severed. He started holding the leather skin in the water with his teeth. He continued going toward the camp of Abu Abdullah until we have that the arrows pierced the leather skin. Water started falling on the ground, and that moment one of those arrows came on the eyes of Abbas, and now he doesn't even know which direction to go. That moment, Tahayyar al-Abbas, it said. Abbas is mystified. Abbas says, what should I do? There is no water to take with me. There is no eyes to see my way around. As he is contemplating, we had that they struck him with a pole on his head, and he fell from the horse. This musibah is being the worst of all, that when somebody falls from the horse, you use your hand to protect your face. You shield your you are able to reduce the impact by your hands. But Abbas has no hand on his body. When he fell on his face on the ground. And we have in that moment, he said, Akhak, adrik akhak. My dear brother Hussein, come to the rescue of your brother. We have that Imam al-Hussein went toward Abbas. Enemies, after what they have done with Abbas, they left him, they abandoned him. And Hussein is now approaching. We have that some of the sources says Imam al-Hussein picked something from the ground before he reached Abbas, and he's kissing it. What is it? And they saw that he got to the hands of Abbas first. And when he got to the body of Abbas himself, we have that the first thing he said was, my dear Abbas, my brother Abbas, Al-an qad inkazara dhahri wa qallat hilati. My dear Abbas, I lost Ali al-Akbar, I lost my Qasim, I lost my companions. But now that I see you, my flag bearer on the ground, the back of Hussein has broken. وعلى لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. Ya Allah, by the honor of Imam Hussein, by the honor of Father Abbas alayhi salam, hasten to turn up Imam over time, Imam Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman. Ya Allah, we ask you to grant relief, immediate relief, and rescue for all the madlumeen, all the oppressed of the world as soon as possible. Ya Allah, we ask you for the shifa and healing of all those who are ill and those who requested dua. And we ask you to bless the soul of all of our marhameen, all the mu'mineen and mu'minat, especially the marhameen of the participant and the marhameen of the sponsors of this majlis. For the soul of all marhameen and shifa of the mareed, recite Surah Fatiha with the salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Also, let's inshallah remember these marhameen: Muhammad Ali Rada, Mir Liaqat Ali, Mir Jafar Ali, Wiqar Unisa, Muhammad Tahir Ali, Nader Unisa, Ibrahim Ali Khan, Nargis Fatima Khan, and Shahriyar Ali Khan with Surah Fatiha and Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.